Hey guys, what's happening? Today I'll be swapping the differential on Nicole's car, which I'll be installing a welded differential and taking out the VLSD differential. But before I can start, I had to go pick up my air compressor from CFD. I left it over there when I moved. I couldn't bring it to Adam's house in time, and I stopped by Harbor Freight and got some supplies. I ended up getting a 50-foot hose. It was on sale today. Got some gloves. I got this little air shock thing so I can air up the tires on this because the tires are a little flat and it's hard to move around. I got some fittings for the new hose. I stopped at Chipotle, got some food, and then I just gotta make room over here to put this stuff. I ended up bringing the air compressor from the shop. It's a 21 gallon, hopefully we'll get the job done. I also picked up some more stuff that I had at the shop. I have another engine hoist. I got another spare differential for my E36. That's a M3 LSD. First thing I gotta do is to put Nicole's car on the left, and then I can take this apart. This is the welded differential that I got. I already had welded differential for Sebastian a while ago, back when I had my other shop, and I'm gonna open it, make sure it's all fine. Maybe if I have to like go over the welds a little bit. If not, it might be good. I don't know what I did back then. It was like 3 years ago. Take this one apart, take Nicole's differential apart, swap the cores, and then put one of them together. So this one is a short version. It doesn't have the ABS in the front nose. It's a shorter differential, so I can't just swap this differential and put it on her car. So I'm just gonna take the core and swap it to her car, which I'll show you guys how to do that in a little bit. One of the first things I'm doing is assembling the hose. I gotta use some permatex thread sealer and then install these fittings on it. Now I have a working hose. I may have put both female sides on. Whoops. This is the right side for this side. There we go. Now that will work. Also decided to put this little regulator on here. When I'm like using like air blower and stuff, it's always handy to like be able to regulate the air in your hand. We have the differential right here. First thing I'm gonna do is to remove the axles. So 6 axle bolts on each side. After that, I'm gonna remove the drive shaft, which is the front flange right here. After that, I can loosen up this bolt over here on the back. I want to remove the front bolts first, and then remove the rear while holding the front. Now we can then just like wiggle it out. It's like 12 millimeters. It's like use 2 wrenches and just open up. First thing I like doing, I just like loosen all of them up and then I go over them again. I already got this one earlier. You may need some medium boost strength to get these off sometimes. If your car is rusted, you're gonna need big boost to remove these bolts. Now repeat the same thing on the other side, which only makes it a little bit sweeter because you got the exhaust in the way. Next, we got the differential flange bolts. These are 14 millimeter. I always like using these longer wrenches. They got more leverage, and then I use a ratcheting for the other side. Then I can hold it like this. And that one's loose. Use this to spin it. Then I will do the next one. What the? That hurt. What does this one have like a big washer? It's like a different bolt here. Now we got all of them loose with both wrenches, and I just use one wrench because the flange on the drive shaft literally holds the bolt in place so it doesn't let it spin. I just literally use this. Since I have the car in neutral, I can spin the drive shaft. So I hold the bolt on the other side so I can spin it without the whole thing spinning on me. We got the drive shaft bolts out. Now I gotta do the two front differential bolts. I'll definitely use the impact gun for this because it's a little hard. These are 17mm bolts. Now the last bolts will be the top ones back here. This is 4 17mm or 17 and 14. I don't know, I think they're 17mm bolts. I'll check. These are 17mm nuts. You'll notice now that the differential starts to lean forward. It's creating a gap over here now. Now is where it gets tricky. I have to remove or separate the axles. Then I have to literally hold the differential while I take these two other nuts off. Alright, differentials out, glove broken again. Can't handle the big boost hands. Now you can see the difference between both differentials. This is the S13 differential, that is an S14 differential. The mounting points are a little bit different, but they align the same. The front of the S13 differential uses no bushing. There's supposed to be bushings in the front on the S14 differential, as well as the rear, but they're not installed. That one goes in the subframe, this one goes in the differential. Also, you can tell the difference of the length. This is an ABS differential, that's a non-ABS differential. Different has this sensor right here, so it moves the front of the differential forward a little bit more. The drive shaft for the ABS differential is shorter, and you cannot exchange a non-ABS with ABS differentials. Also, the back of the S13 differential has 4 bolts. The S14 differential has 2. You can normally swap these over, that's fine. In this case, what I'm gonna have to do, since it's an ABS differential and a non-ABS differential, I'm gonna swap the cores, put that core inside this one, and then put this one inside the other one. That way, I can run a welded differential on a VLSD differential, and I'll show you guys how to make this happen. I'll show you guys how to do this exactly how we do it at the racetrack. First, you lay the differential like this, you can stand up. The S13 is a little bit harder, so I use 2 jack stands to support it. First, we'll remove the rear cover. Those are 14mm bolts. Using a flathead screwdriver, you pry it off to this corner right here. Very little pressure is needed for it to come off. This is what the VLSD looks like. You have the ring here, then you have the differential here. It has like a little viscous limited slip thingy inside. So you can like, see, I can still do this. But it's viscous, so with viscosity, it locks it in place, but it doesn't really work very well. The welded differential, it's on all the time. Now that I've drained the oil from both differentials, you can see clearly the difference between a viscous LSD differential and a welded open differential. This one has a little plate in it and it's all welded together, so the spider gears can't move individually and they have to move all as a unit. That way it makes the differential have both tires blocked at the same time. Another thing that's very important about this, if you're doing this, the viscous LSD differential has one short axle hub and one is long. On the open differential, both are short. So you gotta swap stuff like this, you gotta make sure to take the short stubs, the short axle thingies with the differential and put it on the new differential. If you don't do that, it will not fit. Just make sure you have a viscous LSD. You're gonna put a welded differential, you gotta take the short hubs and put it on the other differential. If not, it will not work. The axle shaft have little rings that click inside the differential. So you may have to like tap it off and it comes right up. Yeah, that one doesn't want to let go, what the hell? This is what I want to show you guys. This is the stub that came from this side, and then now look at the stub that came from the other side. You see the size differences? So this one goes to like here, this one has to go all the way from the other side, so the engaging point is about here in the center of the differential. So both axles are not the same length. On the open differential, they're not the same length either, but they're pretty close. That's what they look like. So this is one side, this other side. The length difference just like a little bit off. Now I'm going to show you how to remove the differential from the housing. You take, there's 4 17mm bolts holding both bearing sides. So this half things, this half moon parts hold the bearings in place and the differential. You take those off. Note, very, very importantly, there are shims on both sides. You gotta make sure to put the shims right where they were on each side to make sure you have the differential positioned correctly. If you mistake the shims from one side to the other, the differential will not be aligned and you will break the gears. And make sure to take each side off one at a time and put the shims on the corresponding side. That way you have the proper backlash on the differential. Now with a flathead screwdriver you can wiggle this out. Here's one of them out. Make sure you put it on that same side. And then take the other side out. You see that the bearing is right here on both sides, but they're not centered. This one has a little shim on this side, and this one has a bunch of shims on this side. Make sure to take those off correspondingly and put them back where they go. What we're going to do now is to remove the ring gear from the differential. These are also 17mm bolts, and I recommend using an impact gun to take these out. Literally the only way. And the impact size 17 does not want to fit. I finally was able to get the ring gear off. So the ring gear is over here with all the bolts. This is what engages the mechanism within the drive shaft spline and the differential, which moves the wheels. So this is what the VLC alone looks like. Now I'm gonna take out this one so I can put that ring gear in that one and that ring gear in this one, and I can put this one back in the differential and that one in this differential. Finally got both differentials taken apart, got both ring gears over there. So now you can appreciate what an open differential looks like that is after it's welded, and then the other side versus LSD or viscous LSD in this case. Now I'm gonna put this ring gear on the open diff. So I'm gonna put this one aside, and we're gonna use this ring gear. One very important thing that you need to do, as you can tell on this and the bolts that came out, they have thread locker on them. I recommend using red thread locker on this. In this case we'll be using permatex high strength red thread locker. I use this nice gel one because it doesn't make a mess like the other ones do. So you literally just like twist it. All you do is twist and then it just comes right out. Then you can apply it on the bolt and it makes no mess. We take some thread locker and apply it to the beginning of the threads. I put a little too much, but that's about what you want there. That's the good coverage. Get this off from here. It's a little tricky to get the ring gear in place, but now that I got the ring gear in place, I just keep putting bolts all the way around, just tight, hand tight. Just make sure you keep putting red thread locker on every single one before installing it. Now you put them back together with the impact gun. First, you start putting slowly. Now that you got the whole differential flat with the ring gear, then you can hit them harder. Always in a crisscross pattern, just as if you were putting your wheels on. Now the differential's back in the housing, we can put the stop shafts back in place. And there we go, we have now a welded differential with the ABS housing. Now, last thing to do, I gotta take this gasket off, and I'm gonna be using permatex gray silicone to seal the housing in place instead of the gasket. Now take some permatex ultra gray silicone. This is what I like using on engines, differential, transmission. I use it on everything. It has an OEM look and it won't leak, plus it holds torque. It's the perfect thing that you can put on anything that you want to hold oil against a casing. I'm gonna use my little dabbing technique on this to see if it comes out nice. Now we can put the housing back in place. Then turn the impact like 3/4 way. We don't want to tighten this one too hard. I know I said I was gonna upload from Monday to Friday, and I kind of messed up uploading Friday because I didn't have enough time. I didn't want to upload like at 8 at night. So I was gonna do it on Saturday, but then I got invited to go out a bunch of places, and I hadn't had a day off in a while. So I went ahead and worked today. Today is Sunday, and I'm finishing up the video that I started on Friday, so I can make up for it. And I know it's a really great video, and I want to start fresh this Monday. I will be uploading 5 times this upcoming week now, so I'll upload Monday through Friday. And this video is the start of the new whole series that I'm gonna be doing. That's a lot more detail-oriented stuff. I'll show you guys more like into the build, step by step, with what kind of tools, what do I use for every little thing. I will not get all the way down to like torque specs on everything. Not everything really requires torque specs, especially when you're using an impact gun on some of this stuff. You kind of like know by time like how tight these things should be, so you can like pretty much wing it. But if you're a little unexperienced or unsure, go ahead and follow the torque specs for every bolt. I'm waiting on Navo to get over here so he can give me a hand to put the differential back over here, since I kind of want to get a good shot putting it back in. Maybe I'll need some help halfway there putting it back on. It's kind of heavy. I don't want to like bend my wrist, since my wrist kind of been hurting a little bit. I don't want to push it by myself. I kind of want to go further with my E36 and probably make it a full race car. I'm like, I can't just like street drive this. I like to make it a legit race car, so I'm gonna have to put a roll cage on this thing. I'm gonna have to strip it all down and get all this excess stuff out of the way and just make it full race car. You know, it's already looking all the way half turned out, so I might as well just go all the way. It already has a super nice race car shifter and hydro e-brake setup. Look, just this is so firm. I just love this shifter right now. Super nice feedback, solid. E-brake's also looking nice. It's still not hooked up, but it's great. Steering wheel is coming off. I'll reveal what steering wheel I'm gonna be running later. But the most important part of the car is under here, which is where everything happens with Big Boost. Also, there's a chance I might be changing the turbos. Not sure yet, but I'll keep you guys on the loop if I do. The rear of the car is also looking really good, especially with this exhaust. And you gotta complete the job by having a nice sound system in there too. A triple diamond audio woofer box. It's called custom fiberglass. I don't know how it sounds yet. I really can't wait to try it out. Also, I finally picked up these at the warehouse. So I'll be running the BIGBOOST sticker on my welding mask on the side now. Now we're talking. Now it's a BIGBOOST LCBMX welding mask. Now was here. He finally came and showed up. He's gonna give me a hand. The differential. We have the differential right here. I'm gonna just lift it, and then he's gonna assist me by putting back the hardware, and hopefully it doesn't fall on me. Just say that my wrist hurts. This thing is a little heavy.
Is this the correct size?
Oh, just put them in and it'll stay on. Differential is on. We're putting the hardware back in it. So now I was putting the top hardware on, aka nuts.
That's what she said.
Yeah, put the nuts on now.
I can't get the top one.
Really? And then I'll put the other stuff back in, put the front 2 bolts, put the axles are already aligned. Then I gotta align the other axle and then the right shaft. I already put oil in it before putting it on the car, so it'll be a lot easier and faster. And then I'll show you guys how it looks once it's done. The differential is finally installed. As you can see now, we have same rotation on both tires, and the brakes like dragging a little bit backwards. I'll just go forward. Now we have full 2 tire spin at the same time, so it'll be a better drift car now. Hopefully, now the next thing should be replacing the, the next thing should be fixing the fuel pump problem. It has the O-ring on the fuel pump is pinched. The O-ring on the fuel pump is pinched, so I gotta replace the O-ring on the housing. Then I gotta install another radiator on it, which is gonna be a dual pass radiator with better fans, so it gets rid of the overheating issue. I gotta replace the fuel filter and a couple other things. Maybe then I can take it for a spin and test the car out. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video now so I can get to editing and upload it today. Now, you got anything to say? He helped me with those nuts. Or
the hardware.
The hardware. He helped me with the hardware. All right, now, well, you're really good with hardware, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this now so I can get to editing and upload now.